Today we are going to talk about sound vibration. And first I would like to read a verse from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna speaks of sound vibration. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. I will first read the Sanskrit or chant the Sanskrit. Sanskrit verses are chanted or sung. This text is known as the Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Now, Gita in Sanskrit means song. So the verses are meant to be sung. So I shall first sing the first Sanskrit verse, and then the translation, the English translation. So I'm reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 13, where it states, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Omiti Ekaksharam Brahma, Vyaharan Mam Anusmaran, Jah Prayati Tyajan Deham, Sajati Paramam Gatim. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. I will not go very deep into the meaning of the verse, because the verse is addressing quite a few points and topics. And our main topic today being sound vibration, whatever is related to sound vibration, I will speak on that. So here Krishna is saying Om is a transcendental sound vibration. Now, what is the meaning of transcendental? That needs to be slightly explained. Transcendental means that sound vibration which is not experienced by any of the senses other than that sense which is attuned to transcendence. Now let me explain. There is a very deep philosophical point here which I would like to address so that we can differentiate between mundane sound vibration and transcendental sound vibration. While Krishna is saying here the sacred syllable Om. The sacred syllable Om means it is not an ordinary syllable. Now, what is the meaning of sacred here? Sacred here means that which is not a product of this material world. That is the meaning of sacred. And the word Brahma in Sanskrit means absolute. So, the sacred sound can also be translated or interpreted as not mundane, but something which is beyond the mundane. And in the translation, the word sacred has been used to replace Brahma or transcendental because not everyone is familiar with the term transcendental. Rather, sacred is something that one can immediately relate to. However, in the original Sanskrit, the word Brahman has been used, which actually means transcendental. So, the transcendental sound vibration is represented by the sacred syllable Om. Now, in order to understand is there a difference in the different sound vibrations? Are we familiar with the different qualities of sound vibrations? There are altogether 3 qualities of mundane sound vibration and transcendental sound vibration. Now, these are the 2 categories. In the category of transcendental sound vibration, it's spiritual sound vibration which actually descends from the spiritual world. It doesn't belong to this material world. Therefore, it is eternal, it is indestructible, and it is full of dynamism and variegatedness, variety. Whereas a mundane sound vibration, out of 3 categories, so a sound vibration in the quality of ignorance is self-destructing, as well as it destroys itself. And the next category is passion, sound in passion. This sound in passion stays a little longer in ether. And then there is the sound vibration in the mode of goodness, the quality of goodness. That stays for a very long time. But ultimately this also will be destroyed. Only transcendental sound vibration does not get destroyed. Now, sound vibration travels in waves. And there are 4 different factors to this wave. The factors are, 1, its speed, at which speed sound travels. What is the rhythm, the tact that sound waves move in? What is the volume, loud, soft, and what is the tonal expression from the 7 tones in an octave? So these 4 factors are to be found in every sound wave. And when the sound wave, when the sound is of very inconsequential nature, doesn't have any kind of value, just like, different sounds that we hear from a construction place, or the sound of the locomotive, or the sound of the car, or all these very banal sound vibrations. These are known as sound that belong to the category of ignorance, and they are destructive. And they are destructive for the atmosphere, all the different elements like water, earth, air, they are affected by the sound. And these sound vibrations which are in the mode of ignorance, they are destructive to everyone. The one who is hearing, the human beings, as well as the one who is producing these sounds. Then the sound which is creative, it gives creative force, like music with a certain melody, with a certain combination of notes. And so the combination of notes can also create a certain creative urge in someone. It can also bring someone else to a mood of meditation and contemplation. So sound vibration has these kind of effects on us. But transcendental sound vibration is of a completely different category, which brings us in contact with our true identity. We have three identities: my body, my mind, and my soul. The soul we hardly take into cognizance because we've never even seen it, will never ever see it with as naked eyes. Is not possible. Or with any kind of instrument, it is not possible. Even the strongest microscope will not be able to magnify the very, 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 very minute soul to that degree that our eyes can see it. Because the glass through which we are observing, in the microscope, there are these lenses. The lenses are made out of glass. And the glasses are made out of millions and millions of atoms. But we cannot even see these atoms. The lens is transparent. If it is not transparent, we cannot see anything below it. Therefore, all the atoms which constitute this lens is also invisible, but they are there. Similarly, the soul is there but invisible. Anyhow, sound vibration, which is transcendental spiritual, like Om, they reveal my true identity as spirit soul. Now, these four different factors what we spoke of, they move in waves. Just like in the ocean you have waves, some waves are quickly finished, destroyed. Some other waves are there for a longer time. Now, the transcendental sound vibration is never destroyed, is indestructible. And sound vibration is the only means for us to communicate with the Absolute. There's no other way we can communicate with the Absolute. Because by coming into contact with absolute sound, which has descended from the spiritual world, it connects us to that spiritual eternal world. Only these sound vibrations. And therefore, Krishna talks of Om being a sacred syllable. Or rather, what he means is a spiritual sound vibration. It is transcendental sound vibration. And Om will connect us over a period of time to their spiritual, eternal world. The eternal world of God, and that is His eternal abode. But at the present moment, the transcendental sound vibration like Om, at this stage, the transcendental sound is acting on our consciousness by purifying it and making it ready and prepared to actually connect with the eternal spiritual world. And right now we cannot, although one may vibrate the syllable Om, but at the present moment, due to our contamination and mundane consciousness, we are unable to connect with the eternal reality, because the material world consists of false reality, ever-changing reality. It is real. However, it is constantly changing. Therefore, in this changing reality, one cannot find absolute. Real reality, true reality must be having two major qualities. One is it is indestructible, this reality, and secondly it is eternal. And compare that with this mundane reality, what we are every moment experiencing. This reality is ever changing. And all changes means destruction. Change means destruction. For something new to replace that which is old, which means change, means that the old must be destroyed in order to make place for the new. That is the nature of things. This is the nature of this phenomenal world. So the sound vibration that is produced and generated out of this phenomenal world are all destructible and does not connect us either with our soul, which is an identity that has been completely ignored by us, nor does it connect us with the eternal absolute reality, the absolute truth. But over a period of time, when one continues to recite sacred mantras or sacred syllables like Om, then by the process of purifying the consciousness, the soul is able to connect with the ultimate reality, absolute reality. So diese Mantras gehört auch zu sound vibration. And therefore mantras have descended also from the spiritual world. And they are meant to uplift our level of consciousness so that we can take cognizance of our most important indestructible identity, which is the soul. So sound vibration plays actually a major role. It is only by sound vibration that we are able, first of all, to connect with the spiritual world. We are able to connect with this God, which is the ultimate purpose of these sound vibrations. And sound has been therefore given such prominence in the Vedic science of spirituality. It's actually a science. If one deeply studies this subject matter of sound, one will understand in detail what sort of an effect, how a very important factor and energy in our life. This is energy. Sound is energy. And this energy has the strength, potency to make us immortal. Now, it is our choice if we want to actually remain suffering in this material world, or through the process of vibrating sacred spiritual sounds, we are able to leave this temporary phenomenal world. Now, let's look at the different effects that sound has. Sounds which are ignorant, they affect our body, especially our body. And it also creates a distortion and disturbance in the mind. So what it means is a perfect, shall I say, a very conducive condition of a human being is when there is a psychosomatic balance, that the body and the mind are connected. As soon as there is a disconnect between the mind and the body, problems start. Problems like sickness, problems like depression, problems like stress, all these different disturbances are created due to a breach of connection between the body and the mind. Mind includes also emotions. Mind also includes memory, knowledge. All this is included in the mind. Now the body has to follow the dictates of the mind. And the mind has to take into considerations the demands of the body. So this connection between body and mind, or psychosomatic connection, keeps a well-balanced lifestyle. Ignorant sound vibration, as I said, interrupts this balance, and it becomes overtly connected. The sound disconnects the body from the mind, and it takes into its power and influence the body, the bodily functions. Then what happens is that no progress can be made, because sound vibrations which are ignorant sound vibrations, they are destructive. What does it mean by when they are destructive? On the physical plane, there may be very little destruction. But the destruction created in the mind by loss of memory, when one is constantly hearing these destructive sound vibrations, the memory bank as well as the emotions, they become very hardened. While it is not normal for a human being to be constantly hearing the sound of machines, for example. That is not a normal situation. Now, the reason being is that the mind becomes disturbed by the sound vibrations. Similarly, we spoke of sound vibrations which inspires creativity. Now, these sound vibrations give a person inspiration, and what happens is that it brings together again a certain balance between body and mind. For an artist, for a musician, for any person who is involved in creativity of any kind, this combination of body and mind in a very harmonious manner must be there in order to create anything. Take, for example, music. If the mind is not in resonance with the sound vibrations, then the body doesn't perform on the instrument or on the voice, on the vocals. Or a painter, any kind of artist, must be able to combine body and mind in order to create something. Sound vibration is a primary factor in bringing a balance, a psychosomatic balance. Similarly, on the level of spirituality, sacred syllables that we were spoken of, and other mantras, they connect us with the spiritual realm, spiritual energy. The more we engage in reciting these mantras, the more our consciousness becomes freed from its entanglement in matter, and allows our consciousness free access to the spiritual energy. So in every respect, whether one wants to create something in this material world, or whether one desires to attain the spiritual realm, sound vibration is a very important factor. Let's also look into another aspect of the influence of sound vibration. Sound, as we have spoken of, it creates and sound destroys. According to the Vedas, the entire universe was created out of sound. And it will be destroyed again through sound vibration. Such is the power of sound. Because sound can travel and reach any given point. Just like ether is present everywhere, it's omnipresent, one can say. Similarly, sound, the ether being the vehicle of sound. Sound travels on ether, in ether. So, sound, ether is the vehicle for sound. And when ether is present everywhere, sound can also reach to the extreme points. But not all of us are in a position to hear this sound. For example, I was saying, the transcendental sound never gets destroyed. It is vibrating all the time. It's in ether, but we don't have the capacity to hear it. So one has to learn this process of how to connect with this eternal sound vibration, transcendental sound vibration, by first cleansing our consciousness of material sound vibration, so that our consciousness becomes qualified and eligible to connect with the spiritual energy through spiritual sound vibration.